This is what we will discuss today. Hey there, friends on YouTube. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest it, ouch, that hurts. Today we're talking about a keyboard that I've been using for a couple of months now, actually. The folks over at Logitech did in fact send me this Logitech keyboard. It's called the Craft keyboard to check out and run it through the painfully honest paces, if you will. And so I've been doing that. And I've been really kind of pretty happy with this keyboard. Spoilers. This keyboard is really pretty slick. It works with both Bluetooth and with the unifying dongle thing that Logitech sends with everything they sell. And I found that sometimes I was using this with my iMac, which had really unreliable Bluetooth connection. I'm now using it with my MacBook, and it is disconnected once. I don't think that these disconnections are the fault of the Logitech Craft. I think that this is still like some kind of weirdness with the Macs. But at any rate, if you take a look at it, so it's got this thing. This is called the crown. You can push it, and you can twirl it. So, and it does different things depending on what program you're in. Like if you're in Google Chrome, it's defaulted to switching tabs, and that can be useful. It also works with pretty much the entire Adobe suite, I believe, at least the big programs in the Adobe suite like Photoshop and Premiere and Lightroom and all that. It also works with Word and Excel. Those are the ones that I know a profile has been developed for this keyboard. Now let's take a look at what it's made of. Along here, this is aluminum. It's space gray aluminum that looks just like the aluminum of the recent MacBook Pros that have been space gray. I don't know if it looks like the iMac Pro because, you know, I'm a dirty pleb and I can't afford to buy one of those. Maybe if you have one, you can tell me if it does. As you see, it's got a power switch here, USB-C charging, and then this is, I guess, where the antenna is for the Bluetooth. On the other side, it's very thin, if you can tell. So the majority of all the guts are inside of this back plate that holds the crown and everything else, and the keyboard itself is very thin. It's kind of nice. And it has some special features. Now, so it works for Windows and Mac. So you've got Command and Alt and Control, all those kinds of things. The travel is it's a chiclet keyboard. It's got decent travel. I want to say, honestly, this is probably the best typing experience I've had on a third-party keyboard. I've used many Logitech keyboards. I've used many of the Apple keyboards. I've used just about 4 or 5 different mechanical keyboards, and consistently the typing on this keyboard is better than any of them, without a doubt. It's just something that it's chiclet keys. I'm typing on them now, and you can't really hear them. So it's a very quiet keyboard. There's something about the travel of the keys. Like you just press down, and it has the perfect amount of resistance before the key drops. It doesn't feel like it ever drops all the way to the bottom. Yes, you can pound on it. It drops all the way to the bottom, but it just feels perfect. It has these little indentations, so little like concave indentations on each key, so your finger has a place to land. And it's literally the best typing experience that I've had on a keyboard maybe ever. That may seem hyperbolic, but I'm sorry. That's just the way I feel. You see here, it does have some commands. It has an escape key, so if you're using a MacBook Pro, that might be something that you want to check out. Brightness, it goes to, the Mac sort of all the programs window. This is for the launch pad. I don't actually know what this one is for. then this brightens and lowers the brightness of the keyboard itself. Now, the cool thing about the brightness of this keyboard, the cool thing about the backlight, uniform, single color, white backlight on all the keys, but it has a proximity sensor in here somewhere. And so when you get your hands close to the keyboard, when you move to the keyboard, the lights light up, which is pretty slick. And then when you're not using the keyboard, they go off. I found that battery life on this has been pretty stellar as well. I think I probably have to charge it once a month. So that's not bad at all. It also, let's continue going through the keys. So we've got play, pause, all that kind of stuff. We've got volume up, down. These probably need to be programmed individually. I don't think they're working with just native Mac stuff right now. So I haven't really fooled around with it all that much. Then you see here, you've got 1, 2, and 3. And that's the number of devices that can be used with this keyboard. So if you want to connect it to your TV, or if you want to connect it to 2 computers, like maybe your work computer and your home computer or anything like that, you can connect it to up to 3 computers or devices. And that is pretty darn slick, I have to admit. The craftsmanship of it, the actual design that went into the keys and the travel, the crown, which is touch sensitive, I think that you could make an argument that for the discerning typist, this keyboard is 100% worth the $199 investment. Oh, and I don't want to forget, over here by the number pad, you've got a calculator button that will bring up the calculator on your computer immediately. Screenshot button, so you don't have to do shortcuts to get to the screenshot. The biggest problem with this keyboard is that you actually have to remember all of these additional features when you're typing to really get the full experience of the Logitech Craft keyboard. I haven't really adjusted to the crown. I don't use it in Photoshop. I'm not really very good at Photoshop, for that matter. I'm editing on Final Cut Pro right now, and I don't think that they have a profile for Final Cut. But if this crown could do the jog wheel, kind of scroll through the timeline thing, that would be amazing. That would be really amazing. That's something that I would use all the time. And as far as I know, I've looked, they don't have that yet. But I think it works that way in Premiere Pro. So if it does, if you use it that way, if you have one and you use it that way in Premiere, please let me know down in the comments. I'd really like to know. So final thoughts about this guy. It seems silly to gush over a productivity keyboard. But Logitech has taken this to an entirely different level. Aluminum build, the crown, the extra keys, the way these keys feel, the battery life, everything about this says top of the line. This is like, you're treating yourself to something with this. And it has the price to go along with that. Should you go out and buy a Logitech Craft keyboard? That's all up to you and your bank account. But if you do, I will tell you that it certainly is a joy to use. And now, yes, Logitech sent me this keyboard, but I wanted one of these keyboards for a long time. I kept looking at them in Best Buy and typing on them and thinking, man, that thing seems really cool. At one point, I was just like, hey, can you guys send me a Craft keyboard? I really want to use it. It's sexy. It's functional. And I'm going to keep using this keyboard for a long time. Have you tried the Craft keyboard, and what's your experience been? I really want to know. And so do the folks over at Logitech, because they seem to be really interested in customer feedback. Thank you so much for being here. If this was your first time here and you made it to this point, then why don't you just go ahead and do those things you need to do to be able to come back and watch other videos with my face? If you've been here before, then you know what the drill is. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest it hurts. At least this, but this one didn't hurt because I really had nice things to say about the keyboard. Anyway, until the next time, I'm out.